Hey game makers, welcome to episode 2 of Pixelated Pope Private Investigator, the show where I investigate a bug in your projects and teach you how to debug more effectively with real bugs stopping you from making progress in your game. Today's project comes from Reddit user SlipperyJim8. It's a Motherlode inspired idle incremental game. So first, let's reproduce the issue and see what we're dealing with. The problem arises when you are standing on two tiles and you press down to dig. Instead of digging only where the green square is displaying, we're digging through both the tiles we are standing on. That's obviously no good, but unlike the previous episode, since there's no error message, this may take us a bit longer to figure out. So let's go to the code and start digging. First, let's see if we can find that player object. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's see what we got in this step event. What we're looking for is when the actual mining takes place, as that is very likely where this issue is occurring. Okay, so this appears to be movement and collision, but I don't see anything specific to breaking blocks. So let's look through the object list and see if another suspect presents itself. Block seems like a good place to start. Seems like a pretty straightforward object, but it's the parent of two other objects. And break sounds promising, so let's go take a look at that. Okay, here we go. This seems very complicated. We know the issue occurs when down is being pressed, so let's see what we got in there. So in pressing down, we enter a breaking mode and set an alarm. I'm guessing that this breaking variable is used in the step event. Okay, so if we're in breaking mode, we see if break is colliding with the object playerFollow, which I assume is that little green cursor that follows the player around. And that is likely the problem. Let's go look at how playerFollow works. It looks like playerFollow does what it says on the tin, follows the player. And if the player presses down, it positions itself lined up with the player, but down 32 pixels. And then in the end step, aligns itself to the grid. So I suspect there's a strange collision issue where when break checks if it is colliding with playerFollow, maybe the collision mask for that sprite is too large and is overlapping multiple tiles inadvertently. Okay, so the mask has been modified. The opposite of what I thought seems to be true. The mask itself has been reduced to try and prevent the exact issue I was expecting. I'm curious if modifying it further might help though. If it doesn't, then I'll know if this is more than just a collision issue. Let's change the mask to be very small, 1515, 1717. Now it's only 2 by 2 pixels. Let's run the game and see if that fixes the issue. Interesting. So the issue has been reduced. It's a bit more difficult to reproduce, but still possible. This suggests to me that for some reason, the position the collision is being checked is the center of the player, as I have to be standing basically dead center between two tiles to reproduce this. In fact, as player's position seems important, let's draw out its X and Y position to make this easier to track. I'll add a draw GUI event to player. I do this a lot. This is a very powerful debugging tool. Just print out some values. It's quick, easy, and can be very helpful. Here's how I do it. Draw text, 55, player, plus string X, plus comma, plus string Y. And while we're at it, let's track the playerFollow as well. Plus pound follow plus string playerfollow.x plus comma plus string playerfollow.y. Let's go reproduce the issue and see if we can find a correlation between our positions and when the bug occurs. Okay, so I'm standing at an X of 272, and the issue is reproducible. Since we know our grid is 32 by 32, let's divide 272 by 32 to see where we are on our grid. That 0.5 is the important part. I am standing dead center between two tiles. If I move a tiny bit to the right or left, the issue will no longer occur. This is because of the 2 by 2 pixel collision mask on our sprite. So while that helped, changing the mask can't solve the issue. So let's go fix that collision mask as it was a bit of a red herring. Okay, I'm still suspicious of this break collision check. So since the collision check is checking the object's current position against playerFollow, let's get that position on screen as well. Let's draw it right on the brick. In the draw event, Draw set H-align, FA left. You always want to get in the habit of setting your alignments and typically color and font size as well if you're using a lot of different font sizes and colors before drawing any text. It'll save you some headaches in the future. Then draw text X, Y, string X plus pound plus string Y. The blocks are very small, so I probably won't be able to fit both the X and the Y value on the same line. So I've added a line break instead of a comma to separate the two values. So let's run the game and make sure all these values are what we expect. All of these seem accurate. The follow is where we expect it. It's breaking the brick we expect. Wait a minute. I think I know what's going on. Back to O player follow. Okay, check this out. Whenever down is pressed, O player follow is repositioning itself to be exactly where O player is. It is then snapped to the grid. However, this is done in the end step event. That occurs after we do our collision checks in the step event, meaning that the position of O follow at the time the collision check is made is exactly lined up with the player, which potentially puts it between two tiles. To fix it is super easy, just align it to the grid immediately after repositioning it. Let's see if that worked. Yes! Now, no matter where we are standing, the correct block is being broken. Case closed. Again, I'd like to thank user SlipperyGem8 for letting me use his project in this video. If you have an issue in your game and you'd like me to work through it in an episode of Pixelated Pope Private Investigator, follow the link in the description below to find out how. If you'd like to see more videos like this, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them down below. Thanks for watching, now go make something awesome.